For tonight's Midweek Matchday Live, we have Tony Dean, Bucks and Bucks FA tutor, doing a session on the laws of the game updates for this forthcoming season. Take it away, Tony.
Thanks, mate. So, welcome everyone. Good to see some familiar faces. I can see some of you on screen, but not everybody, because they keep popping up. So, but yeah, please dive in. Any questions? If you can raise your hand, as Chris has said, and we'll try and take questions as we go along. It is sort of semi-interactive. We'll be able to get questions out there and stuff like that. So if you want to unmute your mic occasionally, then we can do that. I'm just going to share my screen with you now. It should be coming up any second. So just give me an indication. People have got that on the screen. Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, thanks, guys. Brilliant. Okay. So, okay, let's just move this on a little bit. Okay, so got the laws of the game update. This presentation is taken off the IFAB website. There's nothing too controversial this year. Okay, there's only one, which we'll get into in a little bit. A lot of them are technical, and we'll deal with each one of them as we go through. Some of them we won't go into in great detail, but there is particular ones that we need to look at with a bit more clarity, and there's a couple of videos to go with them. So look at law 1, field of play. Okay, this is just clarifying because lots of clubs have different shaped crossbars and goalposts and stuff like that. They can now be any shape. Okay, they can be any shape: square, rectangular, round, or a combination. Okay, as long as they're safe and secure, not dangerous, then we can use them. Okay, so that's just sort of clarifying something. That's one of the technical ones. We don't generally tend to get any issues with these, but it's just changed this year. It's clarified it. Another bit of a clarification is around the ball. Okay, because we've got this now that says if the ball becomes defective, play is stopped and restarted with a drop ball. So why would we have the drop ball? There's a question for you. Why the change? Why are we making it drop ball now? It was always a drop ball before, but why are they now clarifying this change, do you think? Okay, so basically it's around what we had last year when we got the new interpretation or the new law around the drop ball. It goes to the team last in possession, whereas previously it was a drop ball. It could be contested. So they're now just tying it up here and making sure that it's all sort of one, and that it's a drop ball to the team last in possession when the ball went defective. So nothing too controversial with that one. This one's a bit interesting though. Offside. Now, a little known law that we apply or is often used, and there was a case in the Champions League a few years ago, whereas if somebody deliberately plays at the ball when it's being passed through to an attacker and they deliberately play at it and they touch it, the player is not offside. Okay, they're not offside if they deliberately play it. If they accidentally play the ball, the player is still classed as offside. But if it's deliberate, he's not offside. So what they've done is now they've clarified that if it's a handball, not just the foot, if it's a handball, they are offside. They are classed as not being offside. Okay, so as it says there underlined, and I don't know, I'll see if I can highlight it on the screen for you there. So including a deliberate handball, okay, it's classed as not gaining an advantage. Sorry, it's not considered to have gained an advantage unless it was a deliberate save. So if it's a deliberate handball, and I'll show you the clip now to just emphasize that, it is not offside. Okay, let's just see if this video will play. This is one of the videos that's a bit glitchy. So let's give it a go and see how we get on. Okay. Okay, so you probably didn't quite see the handball there, but I will rewind it for you and we'll go again. So let me just bring it back a tad. You see the handball here? Okay, so that handball, that deliberate handball, and this player here, he's offside. Okay, but because there's a handball, it puts him onside. Okay, because he's deliberately affecting the play, it makes him onside. Okay, everybody happy with that? It's one of those little known ones that we don't often see, but it's certainly been clarified in the law for this year. Right, let's get on to something controversial then. Let's stoke it up a little bit. They've put this little diagram out here to say, to try and define where the handball is. So what they've said is, for the determining the handball offences, the upper boundary of the arm is in line with the bottom of the armpit. Okay, so the green section, sort of maybe at the end of my sleeve, I don't know. This is where the debate's going to come in, because we've got our little man there. We're all going to agree that's handball, yeah? That's below the level of the armpit. So we're going to say that's handball. But if we move it up and it strikes that part of the upper arm, we're saying no handball. But I'm going to pose you the question. What part of the ball are we going to use to identify that handball? Because when we're looking at the ball for over the goal line or over the touch line, we say the whole of the ball over the whole of the line. But in this case, what are we saying? Is it the edge of the ball, the top of the ball? Is it just the contact area where it makes contact with the arm? It's really, there's no guidance on it, if I'm being honest. I've got a hand up there. Is it Elliot? Elliot, do you want to just unmute yourself? And no, is that not you? There's a question in the tab. I can't see the questions coming in, guys, by the way. So so apologies for that. Let me actually just let me see if I can flick that up. I might be able to put that on. Oh, I can see the chat function now. It's coming in. Yeah, it's just loading the chats, guys. Okay. So somebody's put, somebody's put the widest point of the ball, the middle of the ball, because that's what it touches. Well, is it? Blakey, yeah. What if somebody's got a large armpit? If somebody's got a bulging muscle? Okay, so the guidance I'm going to give you, because there's nothing there, okay, you're the judge. You're the judge. You are, it says, in the opinion of the referee, you've got to make that call. What they've done is, by putting this diagram out, they've tried to clarify, but actually in reality, it's not going to help us, because it's not going to give us any particular direction or specifics. There is nothing about the contact area on the ball. So in effect, really, for me, nothing has changed from last year. Okay. There was a controversial one, was it the other night, where somebody, it came off somebody's shoulder, the upper part of the shoulder. I mean, I didn't see it too clearly myself. I just saw a very small clip, and it was at the top. My cat's just going to come across the screen now. You can get down, please. Thank you. So yeah, it was off the top of the shoulder, and they disallowed it. They said it was handball. So it's tried to make it less controversial, but actually it's no change for me. Okay, so you are still that person. But what it does give you now, it gives you an explanation to a player. You will be able to describe to a player that it's below the armpit, so therefore it's handball. But it depends on your angle of view, your proximity, the speed that it goes at, all those things that we took into account before. You still do those. Okay. Everybody happy with that? There's nothing particular coming up on the chat there that I can see that's needed. So
the problem with the diagram is that we know that clubs will go, it's hitting below the armpit, therefore it's handball, ignoring all the other elements of what handball actually is. And we know that's a challenge we're going to get, I think, next season. Yeah.
And it's no different to the challenge you've had last season, is it?
No,
so putting that diagram out has helped nothing.
No, it made it worse, actually.
Yeah, and people see that and they think it's now clear cut, but it's not. I mean, Matthew and Blakey will know that I get on my high horse a little bit about VAR when we're doing courses and stuff like that, because that's all people want to talk about, and that's all people are going to want to talk about when you got a live match. You know, they're going to be making that stupid sign at you. They're going to be asking you. But at the end of the day, in the opinion of the referee, it's your call, guys. Okay, no change in really for me in the guidance. You've just got a little bit of a get out because we can explain something here about the armpit. Okay. Right. Okay. This is something that myself and Matt encountered last year. I just need to click this bit here. Sorry. We encountered this last year, didn't we, Matt? How many passes does there need to be before it becomes a handball and you need to disallow a goal? Just put something in the chat for me.
Tony, if I can just intercept and just explain what the situation I had. So I was out in the game, and one of my assistants, we were just talking about, it was a Premier League game, and it was a goal was disallowed because there was a handball or a foul in the build up to the goal, but it was in the defensive half of the field, which was field of play, which was nowhere near the goal. And I was saying, listen, on a level 4, level 3, level 5 game, we're not disallowing that, but because they are in the Premier League, and this assistant was very, very strong on his view, and we all know this know this assistant, no names mentioned, but very, very confident that no, I'd be disallowing that every time. And I tried to explain about match control, so I'm glad they brought this in, Tony.
Yeah, it's really clarifies things really, but the discussion that Matt and myself are having with this guy, he said 6 or 8 passes. There's the touch on its arm. It's just come off his left arm here. Okay, so these are the immediacy ones where it's gone straight straight into the goal following that incident. Okay, so the key word, there's another one there, but I won't labour it too much. Okay, so this is the wording that they've put out there. The concept includes an opportunity to score immediately after the ball's made contact with the hand or arm. So effectively, it's one pass, or the person who is going to score has handballed it. Okay, so no more than one pass. Again, all the way down, it keeps saying immediately. Let's give us some examples here. A goal scoring opportunity. They can't spell because they put up on nutty here. A goal scoring opportunity follows a number of passes or a long pass, or a player runs some distance and dribbles with the ball. They are not handball. And I'll give you an example of that in a second. In fact, it's the next slide up. So here we go. This is an example of not a handball. So the handball's just happened. We're carrying on, and the cross comes in. Okay, shot at goal. That is going to be given. There's the handball. Look, there's the handball. Okay, there's another little clip here. Handball here. It's already happened. We're carrying on. There's lots of people round, and it's gone to somebody else. So there's a good couple of seconds. There was the handball. This guy down here, 21, wasn't happy about it, was he? Okay, one more. There's the handball on the edge of the area, and he plays it away. Okay, so the handball has to, let me just take that back a bit, sorry. That handball has to occur immediately. There's the actual definition that they've put into law with all the changes that you can see underlined, okay? But again, let me just stress, immediately. Okay.
Tony, do you want to bring Steve in there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Steve, you got a hand up there? Go for it.
Yeah, just a point really, because at the Premiership level, they've got the opportunity to go back with VAR and go back to see and clarify. At level 4, level 3, grassroots, if you see a handball, you're instantly going to give it, because you're not going to let the play go on and give yourself a match control problem, surely.
Of course, yeah.
So it's a different game at the big level to what we're doing at grassroots and level 4 and 3.
And that's one of the issues that we face at grassroots and sort of semi-pro football, is the fact that we get these, VAR would have done this. Well, actually, VAR's not doing the things that people expected it to do at the minute, because, and I'm not going to get on my high horse, it's a person's opinion, not a computer, isn't it? Okay, so again, in the opinion of the referee, was it handball? Now we have to tie in the immediacy of the handball. I'll just replay that video again for you there. It's not an immediate free kick. We've let it go. Okay, the guy is just there, and there's the handball. Yeah. Okay. Everybody happy with that? I'll just have a look at the chat that says immediately creates a goal scoring opportunity. So yeah, so basically what we're talking about there is one pass, not 2 or 3, or like the guy on the screen is doing now, he's dribbling through. It specifically says dribbling through negates the handball. Okay, it's that one pass or the immediate strike on goal. Does that answer that question on there then? I say no. Go on, Kieran. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying no to, but I guess for me, there's a rule of thumb. If it's if you're trying to work out if a handball has immediately created a goal scoring opportunity, it's the same question as if a foul had taken place for a dog's day. If a foul had taken place at that moment in time, would you see it as a dog's day? If the answer is yes, then I'd see it as an obvious or immediate opportunity to score a goal. So it's the same sort of question you're answering, I guess.
It is, yeah, it is. For that one pass, it is like a dogzo, without a doubt. If it's 2 or 3 passes, no, we can't disallow it under handball. Might disallow it under something else, but under handball, we're not going to be able to disallow it by taking 2 or 3 passes back.
In the same way that you wouldn't send a player off on a dogzo if it's going to lead to 2 or 3 more passes for the goal scoring opportunity to come. It wouldn't be a dogzo either. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is, and funny you say that about dogzo. There's something else that comes up later on in the law that's changed slightly this year in terms of a dogzo offence, but we'll cover that in a bit. Yeah, thanks, Kieran. Appreciate that. Anybody else wants to put in the chat there? If you're happy about it, yeah, everybody seems to be quite happy there. So, okay, so we'll move on. We'll do the next one. So, a holding offence now. This is just a clarification has gone in there because there's been lots of debate and lots of stuff online about holding offences in the penalty area. So they've tried to clarify it by saying a holding offence only occurs when a player's contact with an opponent's body or equipment impedes the opponent's movement. It's not really helping us that, I don't think, but it says at the top there, it does not expect minor holding to be penalised. So that I sort of think what we're saying here is not every contact is a foul. Okay, not every contact is a foul. So contact in the penalty area doesn't always mean it's a penalty. But what they're saying now is they try to tie it down a little bit with any contact with a player's body or equipment impedes the opponent. Okay, so they're just trying to clarify the wording. I don't think it's too controversial, that one at all. So we'll move on. This is an interesting one. Illegal second touch by the goalkeeper. Now, there's a lot of words in this slide, but really what it's all about is if a goalkeeper's taking a goal kick and they play the ball a second time, it's an illegal touch, isn't it? Okay, but there's like what Kieran was saying before, if that touch stops a promising attack or denies a goal scoring opportunity, okay, the goalkeeper must now be cautioned. Okay, they must be cautioned, not sent off in the case of a dogzo, but cautioned. Okay. Now there's a clip in, and I'll show you in a minute, and it makes it really, really clear about what it should be. But just go down to the bottom, this bit down here. Okay, this bit here. If the offence is playing the ball a second time after a restart, but before it touches another player, the goalkeeper must be sanctioned if the offence stops a promising attack. So therefore, there's where the caution comes in. Okay, so let's show you the clip and it will highlight it a bit better. Okay, come on, wait, there we go. So watch the keeper, slips, everybody chases it, and he plays it a second time. It'll go to a better angle now and show you. So there he goes, slips, and when we've all stopped laughing at him, he gets up, plays the ball, second time. Okay, so that becomes an indirect free kick, as it normally would do, and it becomes a caution if he denied the promising attack or a dogzo. Not sending off for the dogzo, just a caution. Okay. some of the other changes to Law 12 around cautions are what you see on the screen there. So there's no delayed caution for stopping a promising attack for quick free kicks. Bit of an explanation around it. Sorry, that's going to go onto another screen. I'll come back to that. Okay, there's another little one here, the flick up. Now, this used to be called circumventing the law. So this time, if a goalkeeper flicks the ball up and a teammate can head it or chest it back for the goalkeeper to catch, we retake the kick. There isn't a caution. Now, this change has come about because we now, in the penalty area, the ball doesn't have to leave the penalty area from goal kicks and any free kicks within there. It can now stay inside. And what they've been finding, and I'll show you the clip, is that goalkeepers have been circumventing the law by flicking it up. Now, ordinarily, circumventing the law, unsporting behaviour, we would caution, but for this one, we don't. So I'll have a look at the clip here. So this is one of those dodgy clips. I'm just going to run it on, guys, because it will come back to, here we go. Now it'll play it properly. Right, watching the corner. Okay, watch the keeper. Eventually, he will flick it up, heads it back, keeper can catch it. Okay, and then he throws it out. So in law previously, that wasn't allowed. That would have been allowed. They've now tightened it and said, no, you can't flick it up. That's circumventing the law. So we would just retake the free kick. Okay, retake the free kick. Jonathan, what? Nathan said, why not a sending off? Because they've said that in law, they've just made it a cautionable offence, okay, for playing the ball a second time. Because you've played it twice, it becomes an indirect free kick. Because you've unsporting behaviour, effectively, it becomes a yellow card offence, not a dogzo. What else have we got? James, how could it be classed as a promising attack if the opposing team doesn't have control of the ball? Well, that's your decision. As a referee, you make that call. Is it a promising attack, or did he just fluff his lines and you're just going to get him to retake the free kick? If you think he's stopped a promising attack, because now players are very savvy, they don't all drop back to sort of near the halfway line. They're all sort of almost in the defending third, aren't they, a lot of them? So if you think by fluffing his lines there, he's denied a promising attack, then it would be a caution. Okay, James, I hope that answers you there. Jonathan, a few years ago, Joe Hart took a goal kick and touched the ball with his standing leg, kicked the before the main kick. Obviously, the ball unscored, the goal was disallowed. Would this stand now? If he played it twice, which if he's kicked it against his own leg, then yes, he has played it twice. It would be retake the free kick. So that would be correct. Okay, so everybody happy with that one? That's one that's not going to, we've seen very often, but you can guarantee first game of the season, that's going to happen to you. Okay, Blakey, you've got a hand up. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, so I think with the goal kick and the stopping a promising attack, I think it would be classed as a promising attack because obviously, like you said, a lot of attackers will be hanging around the outside of the area, and then if the goalkeeper does fluff his lines, like you say, the attackers will be bearing down on him quite quickly, I imagine. So the goalkeeper's going to panic, and then he'll probably have to touch the ball second time or pick it up. That's stopping the promising attack, because obviously if he hadn't picked the ball up or touched it a second time, then the attacker's likely to get it and potentially have a goal scoring chance or opportunity or a promising attack. So I think if the goalkeeper's actions is something, if the goalkeeper's actions denies a promising attack or an obvious goal scoring opportunity, that's probably the best way to do it. So if the goalkeeper hadn't touched it, would the attackers have got the ball? I think that's probably the best way to describe it and think about it.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, appreciate that. That's spot on. Probably a better explanation than me. Wissam, you said in there, if the first free kick is with the knee when they slip, that can happen. Shouldn't it be a retake because the goal kick is only really taken appropriately with the foot? I think you get out of jail free card is to retake it, but effectively, as soon as he's touched it, ball is in play. Law doesn't define which part of the body it should be taken with. So, yeah, it could be, I would be retaking it. Whether I'm 100% letter of the law, I'm not sure, but if he hits it with his knee first, it would be play on for me. Okay, so there's another one that's a bit of a clarification. Not respecting the 4 meters of the drop ball. There's lots of players been falling foul of this one. They won't get out of the 4 meter zone when you're doing a drop ball. So they've now added it to be included in the cautions, list of cautions for failing to respect the required distance. So yeah, if they keep coming into the 4 meters and they won't stay out of it until the ball is dropped. And remember, the ball is only in play when it hits the floor. Okay, then they can be cautioned for not respecting the required distance. Little clip to just clarify that for you a little bit. So this guy in the white just won't go out. He won't stay away. Ball is dropped. Okay, but there is also another guy coming in here. So if he makes an attempt to go for the ball, then that could potentially be a cautionable offence. Okay, pretty straightforward, that one. Law 12 then, continuing the fouls and misconduct theme. I did mention this one slightly before. They've changed the yellow card for stopping a promising attack after you play an advantage. So if you play an advantage for a dog's-o offence, and bear in mind you play the advantage, okay, you've played the advantage, the sending off is reduced to a caution. So you go from a sending off to a caution. Reason for this is because if you played an advantage, like it says there, for an offence, then you've played the advantage. It couldn't have been a dog's-o. They bring it back to a yellow card because you've not stopped that promising attack. Okay, so it's a bit of a woolly one, but I've got some examples here for you to show about how they interpret this, and then we can also look at for quick free kicks and stuff like that, which is the slide I put up inappropriately before. So the reason I brought it in, it was double punishment, because it was similar to when for a penalty when they give a foul. We give a foul when there's been a genuine attempt to play the ball with the foot. So this double punishment of a sending off and a dog's-o, they've brought it back. They've just made it down to a caution. They've downgraded it. So let me show you some examples here. Okay. So again, it's a bit of a stuttery video. We'll probably just miss that clip there just slightly. So there's the foul. There's the foul. Is this a promising attack? Okay, the ball's rebounded, everybody stopped, and the right winger here, just bear with me, the right winger has gone down the wing, and there we go, and he scores. So is that a promising attack? Yes. So we now no longer caution for that promising attack because we've played advantage. Okay. There's some more on the screen for you. So if the referee plays an advantage for which the caution or sending off would have been issued had he stopped it, okay, generally the caution should be issued when we next stop. However, this is the change. If the offence was denying the opposing team an obvious goal scoring opportunity, the player is cautioned. If the offence was interfering or stopping a promising attack, the player is not cautioned. So basically take a step back on each one. If you play the advantage and it was a dog's-o, okay, don't know why we'd be playing advantage on a dog's-o, but if you do, you bring it back and it becomes a yellow card once the advantage has been played. If it was a yellow card offence for stopping a promising attack, you bring the yellow card down to nothing. There is no disciplinary sanction. Okay, slightly controversial. Just reading on the chat there. Yeah. Okay, sorry guys, I'm probably jumping back a little bit. People are asking questions about the 4 meter rule if they're not interested. I think it's in your interest to manage that situation correctly and make sure they're out the way, because they could suddenly put on a sprint and get their foot in there. Okay, as Dave says, if they're loitering, it's usually with intent. Yeah, you've got to manage that that drop ball. And Matt's just put in on this one, don't play advantage from dog's-o. Exactly my point. don't play advantage from Dogzo. Do what you've got to do. Okay. But if you do decide to play advantage from Dogzo, it becomes a yellow card offence, not a red card. Out wide on that clip that we've just seen, just to refer back to that, if it's a yellow card offence and you play the advantage, it's no disciplinary sanction after that.
Tony, before you move on,
go on, mate.
Quickly just add something to my comment there. So I say don't play advantage from Dogzo. What we say on the course is, we say, listen, you're risking a hell of a lot for not much reward if you're playing advantage from Dogzo. You can play advantage from Dogzo, but I use the saying, I only play advantage if it's literally going to be a tap-in, as in your nan could score it. And you're not risking much. If it's Dogzo and it's not going in anyway, let's just give the pen or the free kick or whatever it is and deal with it before our match control goes out of our control. If it's going in and you can 100% be sure that it's not going to come up and bite you on the behind, play advantage from Dogzo. But my advice, and hopefully Tony and Blakey and Fitzy and the other tutors will go with me, don't risk too much just for that little bit. Oh, I played advantage from it's not worth it.
100%, Matt, 100%. To follow on from exactly that, they've also brought in this one now, no delayed cautions for a stop in a promising attack offence if a quick free kick's taken. And there is a little bit of a clip I'll show you again in a second, but just to clarify it. So if you allow a quick free kick after a Dogzo offence, it becomes not red, it becomes yellow. But to be consistent, so if you allow a quick free kick, okay, after an offence which is interfered or stop the promising attack again, you don't caution. So that just ties up. So if we've got a Dogzo and you allow the advantage, it comes back to yellow. And the same for the quick free kick. Okay, it's no different whether you're allowing the advantage or the quick free kick. It's exactly the same. I'll show you this clip here now. Okay, England game. So 1 trip, 2 trip. I think we're going to caution now, aren't we? Whistle's gone. Quick free kick, bang, back of the net. Okay, so here's the foul again. There we are. Referee's blown up. Quick free kick. At that point, we would be stopping the play to caution that player generally. Okay, but in this situation, the player's taken a quick free kick and we've allowed them to get on with it. We don't caution. Okay, same here. So there's the quick free kick. There's the foul. We play on and there we go. Now, in the past, we've always gone, wait till the next stoppage in play, bring it back and show the card. Okay, that was always classed as good refereeing. Now our technique has got to change slightly. Okay, our technique will be, we're not going to come back and give that card anymore, whereas we would previously. Okay, so there's the clarification of that. So once the referees decide to caution or send off the player, play must not be restarted until the sanction has been administered. That's what we used to do, isn't it? Okay, unless the non-offending team takes a quick free kick and has a clear goal scoring opportunity. Okay, I'm going to jump to the bit at the bottom. It says, if the offence interfered or stopped a promising attack, the player is not cautioned. So if you're going to let them go, don't caution. Okay.
Tony,
yeah,
sorry.
Go on, mate. Yeah, dive in.
Yeah, I think that's a real pain of a law change, right? Because it's going to cause us so many issues. Because they'll take the quick free kick, and then you'll get players that know the law and say, "Hang on, you've got a caution for that," and and now you've got to go. But now you've taken the quick free kick. It's just going to take more and more explaining. Yeah. I kind of agree with it, but I always like going back after. I don't know if other referees do this. I always like going back because it makes you look the dogs, doesn't it? You go, yeah, I remember that foul back there, and you took a quick free kick, but here's the yellow. But now you can't go, because you took a free kick. Now I can't caution him.
It was always one of those as an observer that you wanted to go, I've seen them do that. That was really good refereeing. Now we need to take a step back from that. Just have a look at the questions. Blakey, I'm going to come to you in a second, mate. So Steve's got too many referees play advantage to keep the game flowing, but a high risk, which is exactly what we were saying about don't play advantage from a Dogzo. Okay, quick free kicks on ceremonial free kicks are high risk. Yeah, absolutely. Teams practice free kicks, so it's much more advantageous for them to have the free kick generally, isn't it? Kieran, you can still caution if the offence is reckless, though. Absolutely, yeah, still be cautioning, but I wouldn't be playing advantage, and I probably wouldn't be letting the quick free kick go if it was reckless. Would you ever prevent a quick free kick to give a yellow instead? I think that's just answered that question for you, Nathan. Yeah, I would. If it was bad enough to caution for sort of a reckless tackle rather than stopping a promising attack, yes, I would be stopping the play and it'd be a caution. So, Blakey, do you want to dive in, mate?
Yeah, cheers, Ty. No, I was just Kieran got in there before me, but I was going to say, especially for the refs going 5-4 and 4 and above, a lot of fouls which stop promising attack, a lot of them are generally of a reckless nature anyway, especially the ones where the defenders are pretty much ripping the shirt off the attacker's back. You could easily class it as reckless. So especially if you had an observer there, if you were to bring it back to caution, you could just say, yeah, it was. I deem that foul to be reckless and not stopping a promising attack. I think, especially especially managing player expectation, if all the players are expecting a yellow card on the park, then it would be quite an easy way to go back and say, yeah, it wasn't for stopping a promising attack, but you could just say that, yeah, the foul was of a reckless nature. So it's just another way to get around it. But yeah, Kieran got in there before me.
As usual, mate. He's always one step ahead of you. That's why he's your coach. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, fellas. Appreciate that. Okay, so
just to move on from that.
Yeah.
So, foul's gone in, promising attack, quickly, and they've gone before you've had a chance to do anything. Happy days, no problem at all. And obviously the ball then goes dead. From an assessor's perspective, would you still expect the referee to go back and speak to the player who caused the offence, even though you're not going to caution them?
Yes.
You would? Cool.
Yeah, because you played an advantage or you've let them take a quick free kick. And on each occasion you play an advantage, you should be speaking to the offender and the offendee. Okay? So you should be speaking to both. It's not always possible, I accept that. But yeah, if there's been a situation like that, speak to him. And especially if it's gone in the back of the net, you look like golden boy, don't you? You know, you've played a great advantage. You've let them take the quick free kick, but you still should be going back to the player who made the tackle or the pull or whatever and speaking to them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, just check the chat. Okay, this they say promising attack to tick the observer box, which is a cop out. Of course it is, Steve. It's always a cop out. It's always about conning the observer. You know that. Right. Okay. So now Matt Loughlin does an absolutely brilliant session on kicks from the penalty mark or penalty shootout, as we would know it. But he's gonna have to change tack a little bit now because there's a couple of things that have changed this year. Okay, and basically anybody who's been cautioned in the 90 minutes or extra time, that caution doesn't go through to the kicks from the penalty mark. Okay, they're not carried forward into the penalty shootout. So effectively, they have another chance. They can have another yellow card, and then they could possibly get another one, and that would be their end of the participation. But it would only the yellow cards and sin bins don't carry forward into the kicks from the penalty mark. All right. Players sent off can't take part. Okay. Any warnings or any chats you've had with people or cautions are not carried forward into the kicks from the penalty mark. Okay. Happy with that one? It's fairly straightforward, isn't it? But the offences at penalty kicks have changed, and this is where Matthew's going to have to be on the ball now. Okay, so now they're suggesting that goalkeeper encroachment is about misanticipating when the ball will be kicked. Okay, we can debate that till the cows come home. Okay, so now what they're saying is the goalkeeper shouldn't be cautioned for his first offence. Can be for any subsequent offences, but not the first one. You just give them a warning. Okay. The change basically is to make the kicker more accountable if both offend, but there's no caution for the keeper and the goal could be recorded as missed as well. Okay, so let's just have a look at here. So there's a bit of a confirmation. So if the goalkeeper defends at the taking of a penalty kick and the ball misses, so if what the goalkeeper has done has not materially affected the goal or the miss, then it's not penalised. The goalkeeper is not penalised. There's a clip here. I'm not sure it's a great clip because I'm not sure I agree with it. And let's see what they've said here. Okay, let's just. So the keeper clearly moves off a line and the ball hits the post. Has that materially affected the ball going into the goal? You've got to determine, has that goalkeeper moving off the line put off the attacker, put off the striker of the ball? Okay, well off the line. Okay, so that's just clarifying it again there. So what do people think? Just have a look, put something in the chat for me just to see what you think. I mean, that was for me, that's not a really great example. Let me just play it again. It's not a really great example for me, that one, because I think it's not really clear in my mind that keeper hasn't affected the strike of the ball because they've narrowed the angle down. Yeah, Elliot, I think as a policy decision, a kick should not be retaken. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So again, this comes down to, quite simply, in the opinion of the referee. Now, those assistants amongst us who are certainly going down the permanent assisting route, well then, you know, there might be more guidance come out after a period of time about, and certainly the referee on the day will be telling you how far that encroachment should be monitored. So if that happens, okay, there's a couple of things here. If the end outcome was impacted by the goalkeeper, the law should be applied as you've got on the screen there. So if the goalkeeper defends, if the ball goes in, it's a goal. If the ball misses or rebounds, the kick should be retaken if the keeper's offence impacted. So it's about this word impacted all the time. If the ball's prevented from entering the goal by the goalkeeper, so they save it, the kick is retaken. Okay. If they're encroaching, just to tie it up with the other bit, first offence is a warning, whereas currently it's a caution. The second offence, we're going to do the caution. Okay. So first offence, we just give them a telling off and a reminder. The second offence, it would be a caution. Now, the interesting thing is, on this one, the same law would apply if a teammate of the goalkeeper offends. So exactly the same things that we've been saying about the goalkeeper. So if the goalkeeper, if the defender runs into the penalty area and clearly impacts on the kicker, then it should be retaken. Okay, and first of all, a telling off and a warning, and then a caution for the second one. Okay, it does get a little bit complicated, but it's pretty straightforward for me. When you start getting down and looking at it, if the keeper impacts, you just do what you did previously in terms of the restart of play, whether you re-award the goal or whether you disallow it. Okay, it's the same now for a teammate. The major change is it's not a caution initially. The subsequent table in the Laws of the Game book has now been changed to reflect those. Okay, so we've got the encroachment by defending and attacking players. It's now penalty retaken for both. Okay, and then as you can see on the right hand side for the offence by the goalkeeper, if it's not saved, the penalty is not retaken unless there's a clear impact. And when it says goalkeeper, read teammate as well. So that they'll be updated in the table that's at the in the guidance for referees. So it's well worth checking those out. Okay, because that's one of the things that we often see. What's the offences and what's the restarts? We quite often, like I say, Matt does a really good scenario on the courses about that. Yeah, it really gets over the learning about what is the correct thing. But we always follow it up by saying, go and look at the table of offences in the back of the law book. Okay, so that's it, really. That's the changes. Like I say, nothing majorly controversial for me, except in the handball one. Come back to it. In the opinion of the referee, it's your decision. Okay, just try and explain it. Your match control. Some people are never going to accept it, but that's what we have to deal with majority of the time. Okay. If I can offer you some advice, apply the law if it occurs. Okay. Manage the situations like you normally would do, but don't go looking for it. Okay. Don't go looking to prove that you know the law and everybody else doesn't. Okay. We did have situations when a lot of law changes came in last year where we had a lot of referees getting into a bit of bother because they were seeking out these opportunities to prove that they knew things. And it's not always a good plan. Let them occur naturally. Okay. But just have the knowledge in the back of your head that you know how to apply these laws. And hopefully, you won't have any trouble with them. But fingers crossed. Just checking the chat there. Kieran, you put, can we get a copy of the presentation? Absolutely. It is on the IFAB app, but I will stick it in. I'll get Chris to stick in a link that takes you directly to these, and hopefully the videos. I have cut some of the slides out because there was a lot of explanation slides and things like that. So I've cut some of them out. But yeah, I'll certainly hopefully get Chris to put a link into this for us, and you'll be able to access that, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any final questions? Blakey and Matt, you can pay me later.
Tony, let me come and rescue you for a minute.
Thank you, mate.
Just to say thanks very much for tonight. Obviously, this will be recorded and put onto the website. But thanks very much for your time.
No problem.
It's been really good. Thank you.